Welcome back to the second part of this first tutorial on how to build a hybrid container application with the Sybase Unwired platform. This second part of the tutorial builds on the previous one where we built a mobile business object and a simple hybrid container, in that it extends the mobile business object with a custom selection and the hybrid container with a selection screen to search for customers. If you have not done the first part, please go back and complete this first, otherwise you will not have the prerequisites to do this one here. The first thing we're going to do is to extend the mobile business object. To do so, double-click your customer mobile business object inside the workspace navigator to open it up. Then select it inside the workspace and open the Properties tab in the lower part of the development environment. Move to the Attributes tab inside the Properties and click on Add. Inside the object queries, we're going to create a new query now. Give the query a name and click on Add to add a parameter to the query. Rename the generated name to CName and map the field to company name. The fields inside the map selection are the columns that exist in the underlying table. Click on the Generate button to generate the SQL statement for the query. As we're looking for companies that contain what we will eventually search for and are not exactly what we will specify on the selection screen, let's change the equal sign to the SQL word like. Click on Finish to store the custom query. Let's save the changes real quick and then deploy the changed mobile business object to the SUP server. Right-click on the mobile business object again and select Deploy Project in your workspace. The deployment wizard will pop up. Select message-based object as we did it the first time. On the next two screens, do not make any changes. When we get to the target server, click your server once to connect it to it and hit Next. Now select the database connection mapping to map to the sample DB and remember to click once on the profile name to load the profile. Click Next and Finish to deploy the mobile business object. Now that the mobile business object is extended with a custom selection, let's move on to extend our hybrid container application. The hybrid container application should still be opened up. Navigate to it. If it's not opened up, click on it in the workspace navigator. Here on the screen it is called custlist.xbw. Now before we're adding the custom selection, let's modify the output screen real quick. Click on the customer screen inside the application flow and then on the list view that was generated in the previous tutorial. Then in the properties, select the cell tab. You can select the lines 0, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, which are all fields that are better suited for the detail screen. You can see what is behind each of these cells in the fields table underneath the cells. To delete the cells, you do of course want to click the delete button. Let's deploy the application real quick and see what the changes look like. To deploy, right-click anywhere in the application flow and choose Generate Mobile Workflow Package. Leave all the settings as they are and click Finish to deploy. Once deployment is finished, switch over to the Android simulator and click twice on the Return button to go back to the list of deployed applications. Your customer list application that we deployed in the first tutorial should now be removed, but will soon reappear with the changes. Let's click on it to start it, and then from the start screen, select Customer List in the menu again. We're left with only 3 fields in the overview list of the customers. Now it's time to enhance the application with a custom selection. We're going to place the custom selection onto the start screen of the application. Click on the start screen within the application flow to open it up. In the palette, click once on the edit box and then again inside the rectangle that represents the mobile device screen. Label the field with customer name and in the properties choose top for the label position to move the label above the input field. To bind the input field to a key that can later be used in our custom selection inside the mobile business object, we have to create such a key. Click the New Key button and give the key a name, like kCname. Give the key a default value of ampersand, which, if we would not override it during runtime, trigger a search for all customers in the SQL query inside the MBO. To be able to kick off a custom search, we have to add another menu entry on the start screen. Click Menu item in the palette and then click once inside the menu. I think you know by now, no drag and drop. Name the menu entry Find by Customer Name and then select it. In the properties of the menu entry, change the type to Online Request. Search for your mobile business object with the search button and make it the target of the menu entry. Now select Invoke Object Query and select the customer query that you previously created inside the MBO. Specify a submit error message in case the query finds no customers. Select the error list screen as your error screen, and finally specify the customer screen as your success target. Before we can deploy the application, we have to make sure that we map the parameter we created to the key inside the query. Go to the parameter mappings, click Edit, and select the kCname key to map to the pCname parameter. Let's deploy once more by right-clicking inside the application flow and selecting Generate Mobile Workflow Package. Say Finish on the screen and deployment will start. Switch over to the Android simulator one more time. Wait for the application to be redeployed to the device and then click it. Notice this time the start screen has our input box with the ampersand. Change the entry to ampersand amo ampersand. There are a couple of companies in the database that have amo in their name. Click the menu button and select Find by Customer Name from the menu. This was the second part of the first tutorial. I hope to see you in the third part, where we will change how the application can be triggered.